Okay, so I just wanted to come on here and just talk a little bit. So for the past few days, it's been snowing. Well, it's been sleeting down here in East Texas, and so the roads became icy, and I wasn't able to go back into work for the past few days. My last day of working was Friday. So before, and that was right before um the sleet came in. It was still cold, but I could still travel on the roads to deliver packages for the post office. And so, I had already told the people at the post office that I'm not going to be coming in that next day when there's ice on the roads, because I wasn't going to risk my life for a job. So, yeah, because I've lived through a snowstorm before, and I hate driving on ice, and it's dangerous. So I'm not gonna put my life at risk for a job. So somebody else will have to take over for the time being until these roads are safe. But fortunately, though, the post office was had closed down um, on Saturday when there was actual ice on the roads, and it was sleeting. And today, Sunday, it was still closed as well because there was my supervisor texted me and said that there was no Amazon today. So it turned out that the people at the post office, um, things kind of worked out like I expected. Basically, the people at the post office didn't make people come to work because there was just no volume. Things got shut down here in East Texas and in West Louisiana, like Shreveport. So yeah, so I got 2 days off. You know, I was able to get some stuff prepared, get some food and stuff, and made sure that we had heat for me and my mother so that we could stay warm, and you know because of the sub-zero temperature that's taking place right now. Right now it is, well, it's below zero degrees Celsius, and it's 20, and last time I checked it was like 21 degrees Fahrenheit. So in Celsius terms it's like minus whatever number it is. It's below zero, basically. It's below freezing. So 32 degrees is freezing in Fahrenheit terms, and 0 degrees is freezing in Celsius terms. And so here in the U.S. we tend to go by Fahrenheit, and I guess everywhere else they go by Celsius, or I don't know. But anyway, basically it's freezing right now. There's ice on the ground. There was some flurries today, some sleet. So nobody's going nowhere really, unless you have a four-wheel drive vehicle. And a lot of stores were closed today, like the dollar stores, the main stores. I've heard that one grocery supermarket was open, but it was just better for everyone to have prepared for the snowstorm, for this ice storm, by getting their food and supplies beforehand things before it happened. And so I was able to get all the supplies and food that I needed for myself and my mother. And so we're in good shape now. You know, I don't think that things are gonna get better for the next couple of days, because it's still gonna be in the 20s, especially at night, 20s and teens. But during the day it's gonna go kind of close to above freezing. But it'll get a little bit better, but not that much better in the next few days. But anyway, I just wanted to talk about um, some things that's been going on YouTube that I've been scrolling during my time off from work. And so I've seen that there was an Anton Daniels and Corey Holcomb debate, and it got to the point where those two almost came to blows when they were talking about different issues and stuff. Really, how it got started, how the conflict got started between those two on a live stream was that basically Corey Holcomb said that Anton was kissing the behind of white people, and Anton retaliated by saying that Corey was sucking up to black people. He said the D word, but I'm not gonna say it on here. And so that's when Corey Holcomb got triggered and just decided to get up close and personal to Anton Daniels and just challenge him to say it again. And Anton just he just decided he didn't say what Corey challenged him to say, but he just said, well, we can go take this outside. And he started to go outside, and I guess he came back, and they kept debating. Nothing came to blows, but it was just an interesting dynamic between the two. And so yeah, it was just they were debating about certain things. Like I've been watching Anton for the past few months, his views on certain things, and I do kind of agree with some of what he says, and others I just don't agree with. Now, one of the things he talked about on that live stream was that he talked about he basically said that he was a Republican before he was black, and and one thing I disagreed with him on as a Republican, as he was talking about how why he's a Republican. He said that Republicans were the ones who freed black people back during the 1860s. See, Abraham Lincoln was a Republican. The thing that I disagree with him on about that is that back then the Republican Party was a liberal party, and the Democratic Party was more of a conservative party. And so Anton made a mistake by claiming that today's Republican Party that he's a part of is the same as the Republican Party of the 1800s. They're not the same. So he was wrong by saying that they're the same. And so I'm going to explain why they're not the same based on what I've read. And so really, like I said, the Republican Party in the 1800s and up until the mid 20th century, like the 1960s, they were more of a liberal party, and the Democrats were the more of a conservative party. They were more against against integration, basically. The Democrats were. This all changed in the 1960s when President Lyndon Baines Johnson was elected into office. You see, people thought the Democrats were excited about him. He was a Democrat. They were excited because they thought that he was gonna crush the civil rights movement, but they were in for a surprise because Lyndon Baines Johnson was the one who signed off on the Voting Rights Act of 1965 that allowed black people and people of other races to vote in equal rights to vote, basically. And so they can no longer be turned away from the polls using poll tax or intimidation. They had the right to vote just like everybody else without intimidations and other civil rights legislation that he signed off on. That right there caused the Democrats to become Republicans as a revolt against him signing the Civil Rights Act. That that caused a shift in parties. The parties basically flipped. The Democrats became the party of liberals, and the Republicans became the party of conservatives. Basically, it was basically a shift change, basically. So, so it seems like Anton didn't do much research into the history of the party, like I did. Really, all you really have to do is just do like a Wikipedia search, you know, or just pay attention and pay attention and read your history books back when you was a student in high school or grade school. So, you know, I tend to do research on everything. Like, I don't just take things at face value. I just like look at the history of stuff. Like people were trying to get me to become a Jehovah's Witness. Well, I did my background check, I looked them up basically, and you know, and I realized that religious denomination is not for me. It's a man-made denomination, with a set of rules that I just can't. I just don't want to be living under another set of rules that are man-made. I'm already having to obey laws of this country, and also when I go to work, I have to obey their rules as far as an employee. So I don't need to be under another set of rules that are man-made. If I want to get closer to God and know more about the Bible, I just read it for myself. I have in the past. And so I've read the Bible from front to back when I was a teenager, when I was 18, I think. And so, you know, just so that I know what's in there. Nobody can just tell me, you know, how to live my life. I don't need a preacher or a pastor to tell me how to live my life. I can just read the Bible for myself and do more research on my own as I see fit, you know? So, yeah. So with that argument between Anton Daniels and Corey Holcomb, I think both were uninformed about different issues. I don't know that much about Corey Holcomb because I never really followed his channel. I never knew about him until that argument that they had. And so, you know, some of the things that he says, you know, I can kind of agree with. When they were talking about slavery, you know, I that's one thing I agree with Corey Holcomb about, because it was really they were both right about slavery, but I tend to lean towards Corey Holcomb when it comes to, you know, what happened. Because see, Corey was saying that slavery happened because people, white people and other foreigners came in and raided and enslaved the black people on the African continent. And while Anton was saying that it was all the Africans themselves that enslaved their own people and sold them to outsiders, you know. So Anton was more rigid about his belief, while Corey was more, you know, flexible about it. But he did. I think he did acknowledge a little bit that the Africans played a small part. But you know, I just, you know, it just I cannot agree with either of them on either issues, because I feel like both of them didn't do enough research on history in order to be informed about what they're talking about. And so that's why I never subscribed to any other channel. I subscribed to Corey Holcomb just to see if I can find more videos about him and Anton arguing. And it turned out that I was able to watch that debate on someone else's channel, which was not Corey Holcomb's or Anton Daniels' channel. It was someone else who had recorded debate. And you know, and another thing about it is like I was talking about earlier, when Corey Holcomb got into Anton Daniels' face and started, you know, challenging him to say whatever he said that was insulting him. And that kind of reminded me of, you know, a few years ago, back in 2021, right after the snowstorm. We had a snowstorm that year as well. Well, an ice storm. When I was when I was doing Instacart, and I came across a classmate that I've known, that I've had conflict with back in high school. And so he came up to me and started and held his hand out saying, "Hey, what's up?" He wanted me to shake his hand. I just looked at him, you know. I told him, you know, we weren't friends. We weren't cool like that, you know. You always used to bully me and stuff. And he was like, "Yeah, that was years ago, man. You need to we need to, there's no reason for you for us not to be cool, you know." And I said, you know, that's you know, I can't just, you know, overlook that. And so and then I told him that, you know, since he wasn't going to apologize for bullying me back in the day, I wanted nothing to do with him or his brother, because they both used to bully me back in the day. And he told me that, well, go screw yourself. And I told him, well, go screw your mother. And that's when he came in and got in my face and said, "Come on, man, my mother died." And I looked at him. Yeah, I saw tears streaming down his face as he told me that. You know, I was ready to punch him in his face if he made a move. And I said, well, you know, you shouldn't have insulted me like you just did. And I wouldn't have had to have gotten under your skin like I just did. That's when I knew that I pretty much won the fight, basically, without even raise my hand to punch him in his face. And so there were people walking by us and stuff, and he became embarrassed, you know, as I was telling him that, you know, that's why I don't want to be friends with you. I don't want to associate with you, because you still got that bully mindset. You still acting like you're still in high school, insulting people just because they don't want to talk to you. Or, you know, in my case, I wanted nothing to do. I told him I didn't want nothing to do with him, you know. That was just, you know, I wasn't looking for new friends, basically. So, yeah, he got embarrassed, and that's when he started apologizing to everybody that was walking past me. I said, "Where's my apology at?" You know. He said, "Well," and I told him, "Yeah, that's why I made you look like a fool, because you still acting like you haven't matured since high school." He said, "Yes, sir." He started kissing my feet and calling me sir and stuff. So he still didn't apologize, but at least he became more respectful towards me. So, you know, so that was that. And I walked away. I really didn't I really didn't want anything to do with him anymore. And so this past Christmas, I've gotten word that he had passed away of pneumonia. And so, like I said in another video, I wasn't sad about it or anything. I wasn't glad, because, you know, I was just indifferent towards the guy. You know, he didn't affect my life to the point where I felt that, you know, I should be celebrating his demise. But at the same time, I wasn't going to mourn his demise, because we weren't close, you know. And in the interaction that we did have was negative. So, you know, I was just indifferent towards him. I was focusing on my own stuff, on my own had my own goals to achieve. And so I just, when you're on your purpose, you just don't have time and the patience to deal with people's foolishness. You know, you just become indifferent towards a lot of people who don't add value to your life. And so, yeah. So that debate kind of took me back to when I had that confrontation with that guy at the grocery store where, I was able to get under his skin and made him respect me. And so, yeah. Yeah, so right now I'm just I'm just here, just chilling out. It's still, I got the heater on and everything, but it's just nothing to do really. I was actually on a lot on a I was on a conference call really with one of my with a YouTuber who I've subscribed to and have been watching for the past few years. He happens to also be one of my classmates from Howard University, and shout out to Atlanta Street Interviews. I was actually on a call with him just about an hour ago. He was talking about how to basically do a YouTube channel. I was taking notes as I was on the call, because I do want to expand my channel and do more with this channel basically, and I'm trying to learn different tactics in order to enhance my channel. So I'm just trying to learn from someone who is successful. And so shout out to Atlanta Street Interviews for providing this opportunity for us to be part of this I can't remember what it's called, but it's like a online class for people who want to know how to set up a YouTube account and sort of hopefully become successful at it. And so, right now that's one reason why I went ahead and just posted this video, just because he wants us to do 3 videos by the time we have our next class next Sunday. And so this is sort of my first video that I've done in a long time. Well, not I wouldn't say a long time, but in a while, because like I said, I just been working a lot at the post office. I've been in demand as far as they need help with people delivering packages and stuff. And so I just been busy working, so I just didn't like when I get off work and stuff, I just be too tired to do much of anything else, let alone recording myself and posting a video on YouTube. And so now that I have some free time on my hand, I have more time to get some things accomplished. And so that's one reason why I wanted to go ahead and record myself and post this video on YouTube, so that I can sort of complete one part of my homework, and so I have two other videos left to do before the next class, which is next Sunday. And so yeah, I paid $40 to attend the class. Really, it's $40 per month. It's an ongoing class sessions that take place on Sundays and sometimes during the week, where he might bring in a guest to who has also been a successful YouTuber, to sort of give us gems as far as what made them successful at it. And so I just been inspired by Marcus, the guy who does Atlanta Street Interviews, just because of I've actually rubbed elbows with him in class back when we were at Howard University. He probably don't remember me, but I kind of remember him. But we weren't close or anything. We didn't hang out or anything, but we just happened to be classmates in this one class. I think it was in the School of Communications. I can't think of the name of the class, but it was I think it was some kind of speech class. And so yeah, so that's one reason why I went ahead and paid that $40 per month in order to take his class, because I knew him. I kind of knew him from as a classmate, and I liked his content. It actually inspired me to do a interview. I actually interviewed with someone from Shreveport, one of the girls who I well, she's a woman, but you know, this woman that I've been dealing with for the past several years, you know, I did an interview on her. That's, you can probably see that in my past in my in, I did a video. It's posted. It's back. It's like a few months ago. It might have been last year that I did that interview. So you can go check that out. So that was my first interview with someone, and so hopefully I'll do more interviews as well. And so, and hopefully I can do more reaction videos, so I can kind of, because there are some things that I want to talk about that I've seen in the news. And so, just like I talked about this debate between Corey Holcomb and Anton Daniels, there may be some things that interest me that I want to talk about that a lot of people know about as well. So hopefully I can become more active on YouTube and make things happen. Well, there's nothing else been going on too much with me personally. Just like I said, I've just been working at the post office a lot. And so I'm just glad that the post office closed, was closed these past couple of days. I didn't have to go in, because if they had a call, if my supervisor had to call me and asked me to come in, I would have said no, because like I said, I'm not trying to risk my life for a job, because I live like 35 miles away from the post office that I work at, and so I wasn't gonna try to risk my life driving over those bridges on ice just to get to a job. And once I get there, then I got to go and deliver packages to different people's addresses that are where their roads and driveways are covered in ice as well. And so, you know, it's just not worth the risk for me to drive on these icy roads just to do a job, you know. So it's one of those things where I have to kind of look out for myself first before I look out for a company, you know, because like I said, I'm just an employee. So, you know, it's not like, you know, it's not like the old days where the company cared more about their employees than they do now, you know. So I know the game, so that's why I tend to do what's best for me these days, just because I realize that most companies don't care about you, and so you have to care about yourself first and foremost in order to be able to help other people as well. You have to take care of yourself first before you can take care of other people. That's my philosophy, at least these days. So anyway, like I said, I just wanted to get on here and talk a little bit and make a video of what's been going on with me. And so, like, subscribe, and share this video, and I'll talk to you later.